Hey YouTube, how you going? Welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to be using AI, in particular Claude, to be able to edit existing notes. And to achieve this, we're going to be using the standard prompt that I've developed. So we have our user story here, which is, as a user, I want to be able to edit an existing note, including changing its source, adding new different tags, adding, removing a folder, adding, removing link nodes, sequential links, etc. As well as, of course, changing we should say, what are some standard fields? The title and body, etc. Title and body, etc. So then what I've done is I've just given it a little bit of context because the relationships between the note model is a little bit more complex than some of the other ones. So I've told it in project knowledge you do have access to the note model. Note has references to the user model and extended company model, which in turn is an extension of the company model. Also, Note has relationships with our tag model, our folder model, and the source model. And the source model in turn has a relationship with the source type model. So I've told it, look, please go and review these files for adding a new note because I think that will give it some important additional context. And potentially help a little bit out. So again, as with all of my other videos and the requests, we have this specific functionality. Give a little bit of context here on the index.js because there are two of them, and then say, hey, look, what I want you to do is create these specific files. So again, we are very specific in that we break down each particular function that we're adding to our application so that we can kind of, like we've got here with delete tags, have it very compartmentalized, and that's just kind of giving Claude the instructions there. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this information, and apologies if you can hear my kids screaming in the background again, but it is what it is. Also, we do this just so we have this flatter structure. I know I'm repeating a little bit if you've seen these videos, but this may be the first time that you've seen this. So we just have a much more flatter structure, which helps AI, in my opinion. So we're going to come here, we're going to paste this in. I do expect some questions to come back from Claude because this is a little bit more of a robust request than just editing a folder name or a folder color like we did in the previous videos. So we'll see what it comes back with, and then we'll look to add this functionality once we answer questions. When editing a node source, one, yes. Yes, user accept ID, the API options. Two, if changing, yes, validate that the new source belongs to the same company. Good question. For link notes, should we validate? Yes, validate. When updating these links, for tags, support adding / removing tags, i.e. links. Should we allow new tags? Yes, allow new tags to also be added. Folders, okay, yes, validate the new folder belongs to the company. Should also say, do we need to handle moving notes with any special? No special. Folders. Also, does our current add new note folder ID also allow to okay, validation. No, create new validation chains even if this means we are duplicating code. Yes, all fields are optional. Cool. So just while it's doing that, the reason why I asked it to duplicate code, again, you might have seen this in previous videos, but this is kind of like a typical structure of a project where you have routes, controllers, services, and then you have like reusable utilities. I had like this notification service as an example of that. Validation chains, again, might be reusable across multiple different routes or services, but when we've done that very early on in this project, it led to a lot of confusion with AI, and it just wasn't able to effectively follow like the chain of thinking and logic, or it would make changes to get one part of the application to work, which would then break something else. So we go with this flow structure, and that's what we do. Again, apologies if I'm gonna have to probably crank the volume on this video because my microphone doesn't pick up my normal speaking voice. So in editing, I normally do boost the volume, but you're going to be hearing my kids screaming. God knows what's going on. They're playing, I think, Fortnite or something. All right, so let's write this code. So what we're going to do is we'll bring our code base over here. We'll bring this back over here, and we'll go full screen. So we're putting this within our notes subfolder, and we'll call this edit note, and then we'll just follow. It's not really it's a bit more logical than some of the other videos. We're starting off with our controller. So edit node.controller.js, and I'll run through all of this code once we've cut and pasted it in so I can explain. Now, while I'm doing this as well, you know, if you've seen my previous videos, again, repeating myself, but typically if we can get AI to make this work either first go or with say between 2 and 4 prompts, that's typically a good result. If it takes more than 2 to 4 prompts to get the code to work, that normally means there's you know, some level of complexity. And you're definitely opening yourself up to AI kind of getting lost and going round and round in circles. So if it does take you more than 2 to 4 prompts to get AI to do something, I definitely recommend kind of taking a step back, looking at it yourself as much as possible, and potentially thinking about what you could console log or some other things that you might be able to do. For example, saying, hey, we've done some similar functionality somewhere else. You know, can you please you know, look at this as reference. So what I did notice as well is that it didn't give us the updated code to for our index.js, but that's simple enough because what we can do is we can just go, where's the notes? Let's just put it all together. I'll just put it here. So const edit notes equals require. So into our components, into notes, into edit note, into edit note.routes. What we might do actually is call this edit note because it's not editing notes, it's editing note. And then what we need to do is let's find one that's notes. So we'll go here, router.use notes, edit note, save that. All right. So yeah, I mean that's just so you can see. Didn't do that. It does. They're not questions, they're just points. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to follow this logic. So obviously we are going to hit our API endpoint, which will take it to our direct router. So we go notes/note ID, and then in here we've got a patch request. We do have our validation chains. Edit node, validation chains. Why is that? Edit note. I spelled that correctly. Edit note. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, hang on. Why? Did it? If we go here, edit folder, it goes straight into it. So hang on, I've got to have a spelling mistake somewhere. Let me just rename that. Just double check. Edit note. Dot validation chains.js, right? Is S edit note in the same folder. No definition bound. Module. Controller. It's got to be services. Don't know why that would be causing an issue, but anyway. I mean, obviously that needs updating, but why isn't edit note working? Route is not defined. Notes, edit note. Components. Oh god, I didn't even notice that router. Silly me. Sorry. Simple mistake. Normally, a lot of the times, yeah, if something doesn't work, it can often be a spelling mistake. Alright, so still don't know why this validation chain isn't working. Edit note. Why is that not working? It's crazy. Edit note, validation chains. Copy. I'm really confused where this issue is. No definition for edit note found. This is odd. Okay, I don't know what was going on there. There was obviously a spelling mistake. Anyway, to recap, so we've got our route. We go via the validation chains. So we check ID. Then it's not using our custom error type. So we will come back to that and tell AI to fix that up, which we also happened in our previous videos. Then we go to our controller where we get the note ID off request.params, user ID updates from the body, and then so we need to pass this in as an object, updates object, and then updated note, we pass in note ID, user ID, and update. We then go to our service, which again, there's no edit note.service. Why is it not finding these? Edit note.services. Am I going crazy? All right, then utils. Okay, it's finding the utils. All right, so then from here, basically we've got our validate note access, handle the source updates, handle the folder updates, handle the tag updates, validate link notes, sequential links as well, and then we update the note. So we find the note by ID and update note ID. So find the note by its ID, and then we pass in the updates, and then we populate tag, source, folder, link note, sequential notes. Sequential links. So then all of the kind of magic happens within our utils. So if we just go into one of these, so for example, for validate access, we get our user, we populate the company, we check that the user exists. If it doesn't, we throw an error. We get the note by its ID. If no note, we throw an error, and then we check that the note user ID on the note doesn't equal, is equal to? If the ID on the note doesn't equal the user ID, then we say the unauthorized edit it. Handle source update, so again, get the user, populate company, type of source data, get the source via the ID, and also confirm the company ID for that source, and return it. And then if source data.title and source data.source type, so we create by passing in, if new, oh sorry, this is if it's new source data. So if it's a new source, this is what we're doing, and passing in the source data as well as the user ID and the company ID. And then we've also got handle folder update. So again, populating the company, find the folder data based on the ID and the company ID. This is if we're creating a new folder. I won't go through all of this. Same thing, very similar with tags. The addition here obviously is that we can remove individual tags or add individual tags because it's an array of tags. And then we validate link notes. So on the front end, we don't currently support this, but good to have the functionality here as well. And then we also have the ability to update the folder order if we, for example, delete, add a folder, I imagine, because yeah, that will change the order of existing folders. So that's a big long mouthful to take in. So what we do need to do is let's just log back in with our user, copy this, and then we will get existing notes for a company. Copy this. All right, and we can probably just copy this note, and then what we will do is we will come over here and create a new request. So we patch, go to our body. I'm just going to put this in for now. So Jason, put that there, and we will call. Let's just copy this, paste this. So this will be notes, edit note, and then note ID. Was edit note right? Yep. Sorry, no, we don't need. It'll just be notes / and the ID, which is going to be this. Copy, put that in there. So we don't need that there. We also don't need that in the body itself because we're going to extrapolate that. We don't need those either. We don't need that. We don't need that. We do need our headers, so we need to put in authorization. Error, and from our login user, we need to get our bearer token. Sometimes if you copy it like that, it doesn't, for some reason, copy correctly. Alright, in bearer token, paste that in. Alright, and then if we go to our body, we do need to update this, so let's just call this updated note. And then we'll call this is interesting info, and we will hit send. Validation, invalid source format. Okay, so source. In services, controller. So hang on, no, it's going to be, this is going to be updates, and then this needs to be in an object. Send. Okay, that was my mistake in the body. So yeah, we changed the title. The body didn't update though. Okay, that's interesting. Let me just check. So if we go to note, title, body, go here, body. Alright, so we'll copy this, we'll go to Claude. I passed in this to Postman. So I'm just giving it the body that we passed in and the response. And we'll just double check something. So we're right now service we're expecting. So receiving object. So 2 seconds. I'll be back. Okay, sorry to take that call from my mum. Okay, so I'm misunderstanding a little bit here because originally I thought it was passing in all of the changes as an object. Obviously, it wasn't originally expecting that. What was it expecting? Maybe I'll just say, give me. Yes, that's what I expected. So that's what I originally passed in, and I thought it didn't work. Okay, so the validation chain is failing. Source optional value. It's expecting a source ID. Okay, so with that, so just the difference in expectations with that one. Yeah, I kind of feel with my kids screaming and hollering in the background, this wasn't exactly the clearest video, so apologies if that is the case, but if you've been following along, I do kind of document every step of the journey and all of the code that I write with AI, so this video will still be going live. I'd rather pass in the body like this rather than have updates and then updates have object within it, because it's a little bit redundant to do that. So if we can go back to the original one, I think, yeah, it's just updating the validation chains probably. Okay, cool. So it has changed a few other fields too. So we will just come to our validation chains. We'll just update this and save that, and then we should be able to pass this in now. Okay, there we go. The body was updated. the source was null. So now what we could probably actually try is if we go to headers, let's get our Vera token, copy. I should really set that as a variable. I keep saying that. So if we go to get all sources, paste that in. Let's get a source ID. So we'll do it as this YouTube video, and then body source. If we just pass in this ID, source not found unauthorized. So why is this failing? Throw source data. This is console log. What we're getting here. So it's getting the ID. Source type data. If source type data is an ID, validate it exists. So if we check our did I get all sources? Sorry, I think that's the user ID, not the source ID. So sorry, place this here. Send. No, updated successfully, and it now has the source ID, and it's populated all of the fields there for the YouTube channel, or the YouTube video that we were saying is the source. So fantastic, that all works. Can obviously test out some of the other fields, but I can do that offline perhaps. But for now, I think that's mission accomplished in terms of being able to edit existing notes and create. I should really say we need to copy, add the backend logic for that. Copy. And then we also need to be able to delete notes, but we can tackle that in another video. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.